Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful today. It's time to focus and value yourself. We spend so much of our lives worrying about what others think, chasing approval, trying to fit in, but at the end of the day, you have to live with you, your dreams, your energy, your purpose. Believing in your own value is the foundation of everything you want to become. It is the invisible power that shapes how you think, how you act, and how far you go. Most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they don't truly believe they deserve the success they dream of. Steve Harvey often says that if you don't see yourself as valuable, nobody else will. Life will only give you what you think you're worth. And the moment you start believing in your own value, everything around you begins to change. Self-worth is not arrogance, it's awareness. It's the quiet confidence that says, I matter, my dreams matter, and my life is meaning. When you know your value, you stop settling for less than what you deserve. You stop allowing people to walk over you. You stop apologizing for being yourself. You understand that you don't need validation from the world because you already have validation from within. That inner belief becomes your armor when life gets tough. Your anchor when things feel unstable, and your compass when you feel lost. Many of us grew up in environments that make us doubt our value. Maybe someone told you that you weren't good enough, that your dreams were unrealistic, or that success was reserved for special people. Those words can plant deep roots of insecurity, but believing in your own value means unlearning those lies. It means taking back your power from every person or moment that made you question your worth. You have to rewrite the story in your mind. You have to look at yourself and say, I may not have it all figured out, but I am worthy of growth, worthy of peace, and worthy of success. Steve Harvey's life is a living example of this truth. Before he became the man the world knows today, the TV host, comedian, author, and motivator, he was a man struggling to survive. He lived in his car, washing up in public bathrooms, chasing a dream that looked impossible. The only thing that kept him going was his belief that he was meant for more. He didn't wait for the world to recognize his worth. He decided it himself. That belief carried him through rejection, failure, and humiliation until his reality caught up with his vision. That's what self-worth does. It gives you the strength to keep moving when everything around you says stop. When you don't believe in your own value, you give up too easily. You compare yourself to others and feel like you're falling behind. You accept relationships that don't serve you, jobs that drain you, and lifestyles that suffocate you. But once you recognize your worth, everything shifts. You start setting boundaries, making better choices, and demanding more from life. You begin to operate from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You no longer chase people or opportunities, you attract them. Because energy recognizes energy, and when you carry yourself with confidence, the world mirrors that back to you. Believing in your value also changes how you handle failure. Most people see failure as a reflection of their identity. They think, I failed, so I must not be good enough. But those who understand their worth see failure as a lesson, not a verdict. They know their value isn't determined by a single event or mistake. It's constant no matter the circumstances. Steve Harvey once said, your setback is just a setup for your comeback. That mindset only comes when you understand that your value doesn't decrease based on temporary outcomes. You may fall, but you're never broken. You may lose, but you're never worthless. Self-worth also pushes you to set higher goals. When you know your value, you stop dreaming small. You start believing that you deserve to live a life filled with purpose, abundance, and joy. You stop saying, I hope it happens, and start saying, I'm going to make it happen. You begin to see yourself as capable, not limited, as deserving, not doubtful. And that change in mindset is the birthplace of every great success story. Believing in your own value doesn't mean you'll always feel confident or fearless. It means you'll keep showing up even when doubt whispers in your ear. It means you'll keep working on yourself, improving your mindset, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift you. You'll start to treat yourself with kindness, forgive your mistakes, and speak to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism. Because every time you choose to believe in yourself, you are telling the universe that you are ready for more. When you truly believe in your own value, Life stops being a battle for approval and becomes a journey of growth. You start to live intentionally, chase your purpose with passion, and carry yourself with quiet strength. You become someone who doesn't just exist, but inspires. Someone who lights the way for others who've forgotten their worth. That's what Steve Harvey stands for. And that's what every person can achieve when they decide that their value is not up for debate. One of the greatest traps in life is the constant chase for approval. We spend so much time trying to be liked, accepted, and validated by others that we forget who we truly are. The desire for approval is a silent thief. It steals your time, your peace, and your authenticity. When you live for others' opinions, you start to shape your life around their expectations instead of your own dreams. You become a reflection of what others want to see rather than the person you are meant to be. Steve Harvey often says, you can't drive your own car looking in the rearview mirror. And that's exactly what happens when you live for approval. You keep looking back instead of moving forward. Chasing approval begins early in life. We're taught to fit in, follow the rules, and avoid standing out too much. We learn that being accepted feels safe, while rejection feels painful. But as we grow older, that habit of seeking validation doesn't fade away. It only becomes more sophisticated. We seek approval through likes, comments, attention, and comparisons. We start to measure our worth by how others react to us, by what they say, what they don't say, or how they treat us. This constant need for external validation weakens your inner voice. You stop asking yourself what makes you happy and start asking what will make others approve of you. Steve Harvey's journey is a perfect example of breaking free from that cycle. When he started as a comedian, he faced endless rejection. People told him he wasn't funny enough, wasn't fit for television, and would never make it big. If he had listened to those voices, he would have quit before his story began. But instead of chasing people's approval, he chased his gift. He focused on becoming better every day, perfecting his timing, sharpening his jokes, learning from every mistake. He understood that the crowd's opinion doesn't define the performer. The performer defines himself through consistency and purpose. That's the mindset that separates dreamers from achievers. When you stop chasing approval, you start to reclaim your power. You realize that people's opinions are temporary, but your self-growth is eternal. Approval is fleeting. One moment they love you, the next they criticize you. If you tie your value to public opinion, you'll live in emotional chaos. But when you focus on becoming your best self, your motivation shifts from, I hope they like me, to, I'm proud of who I'm becoming. That's when your actions start aligning with your purpose instead of people's preferences. You start saying no without guilt, setting boundaries without fear, and walking away from situations that compromise your peace. The truth is, you will never please everyone. No matter how kind, talented, or hardworking you are, someone will always have an opinion about you. That's the price of being human. Steve Harvey says, if you're doing something great, somebody's going to talk about you. The moment you accept that, you free yourself from the emotional weight of needing approval. Greatness doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being real. People who make history are rarely the ones who stood in. They're the ones who stood out, took risks, and stayed true to themselves despite criticism. When you stop chasing approval, you also stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the root of insecurity. You look at someone else's highlight reel and start to believe that you're behind, that you're not enough. But when you focus on your own path, you realize that your journey can't be compared because it's uniquely yours. You start to compete only with who you were yesterday. Every small improvement becomes a victory. Every lesson learned becomes progress. That's when personal growth replaces public validation. Approval seeking can also make you compromise your values. You start agreeing with things you don't believe in, participating in things that don't align with your morals just to be accepted. But integrity is the true mark of character. When you stop chasing approval, you begin to live in alignment with your truth. You no longer wear masks to impress others. You speak with honesty, act with confidence, and choose authenticity over popularity. People may not always agree with you, but they will respect your genuineness. Focusing on becoming your best self requires courage. It means being okay with standing alone sometimes. It means walking away from environments that don't nurture your growth. It means trusting that your worth isn't determined by applause, but by your inner peace. When you pour your energy into developing your skills, nurturing your mind, and feeding your spirit, you attract the right kind of people. Those who see your light instead of demanding that you dim it. The greatest satisfaction in life doesn't come from being approved by others. It comes from looking in the mirror and knowing you're living in alignment with your purpose. When you stop seeking approval, you stop shrinking yourself to fit in. You stop waiting for permission to live your dreams. You stop doubting your path because it doesn't look like anyone else's. You finally start living not for attention, not for applause, but for the quiet pride of knowing you gave your best to yourself and your purpose. That's the freedom that comes from letting go of approval and focusing entirely on becoming your best self. Peace is one of the most valuable forms of wealth a person can possess. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or given. It has to be built and protected from within. Steve Harvey often talks about how peace of mind is the foundation of success. You cannot perform at your best if your heart and mind are constantly filled with noise, chaos, and negativity. Protecting your peace means becoming intentional about what and who you allow into your life. It means choosing calm over conflict, growth over gossip, and purpose over pointless distractions. Life is full of situations that will try to rob you of your peace. Toxic relationships, negative people, financial stress, and self-doubt. But true power comes from learning how to stay centered even when the world around you feels unstable. Steve Harvey once said, "Don't let people drag you into their storm. Pull them into your peace." That single line holds a deep truth. You can't control what people do, but you can always control how you respond. The moment you allow someone else's negativity to dictate your emotions, you've given away your power. Protecting your peace is about reclaiming that control and refusing to be emotionally hijacked by things that don't serve your purpose. When you make peace a priority, you start to realize how much unnecessary drama and noise you've tolerated. There are people who only bring negativity. They gossip, complain, criticize, attempt, and drain your spirit. You have to learn to distance yourself from that energy, not because you're better than them, but because you're protecting your mental and emotional health. Peace doesn't mean isolation. It means discernment. You choose who has access to your time, your energy, and your mind. When you surround yourself with positive, forward-thinking people, your life naturally starts to elevate. Steve Harvey's journey shows the importance of protecting inner peace while pursuing success. His path wasn't smooth. He faced rejection, failure, and public criticism. But despite the chaos, he stayed grounded. He learned to keep his focus on his calling instead of the noise around him. In interviews, he often says that when you are doing something meaningful, people will talk. They'll doubt you, mock you, and sometimes even hate you. But if you let their negativity distract you, you'll lose the focus you need to grow. Protecting your peace means learning to tune out opinions that don't build you up and keeping your energy locked on your purpose. Peace also requires letting go of grudges, of resentment, and of the need to control everything. Holding on to anger or past pain poisons your spirit. It keeps you replaying situations that no longer exist. You can't find peace in the present if your mind is stuck in the past. Forgiveness isn't always about others. Sometimes it's about setting yourself free. Steve Harvey has shared how forgiving those who hurt him gave him more strength than holding on ever could. He understood that peace comes when you stop seeking revenge and start seeking healing. Protecting your peace also means saying no to overcommitment, no to burnout, and no to anything that costs you your sanity. Many people confuse business with productivity. They fill their days with endless tasks and noise, but feel empty at the end. Peace requires balance. It's knowing when to work hard and when to rest. It's giving yourself permission to slow down without guilt. Success without peace is an illusion. What's the point of reaching the top if you're too stressed or broken to enjoy it? One of the most powerful ways to protect your peace is by managing your thoughts. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant, it will grow. If you plant worry, negativity, and fear, that's what will bloom. But if you plant gratitude, focus, and faith, your peace will flourish. Steve Harvey constantly emphasizes the importance of mindset. He believes your life follows the direction of your most dominant thoughts. When you focus on problems, they expand. When you focus on possibilities, your peace expands. Controlling your thoughts isn't about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to let negativity dictate your story. Sometimes protecting your peace means walking away. It's one of the hardest yet most powerful choices you can make. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to recognize what no longer serves your growth. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or an environment, anything that consistently robs your peace is too expensive to keep. You owe it to yourself to live in spaces that inspire you, not drain you. Steve Harvey's life teaches that peace and purpose go hand in hand. You can't fulfill your purpose if your mind is cluttered with drama and negativity. Protecting your peace gives you clarity. It helps you hear your intuition, make better decisions, and stay aligned with your goals. When you have peace, you stop reacting to every little thing and start responding with wisdom. You stop wasting time proving your worth to people who don't see it. You stop letting the noise of the world drown out the voice of your soul. Peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of calm within them. It's choosing to stay steady while everything around you wobbles. It's waking up each morning knowing that no matter what happens, you have control over your inner world. That's what Steve Harvey means when he talks about protecting your peace. Because when your mind is at peace, your focus is sharper, your energy is stronger, and your purpose becomes unstoppable. Taking the leap of faith is one of the hardest yet most transformative decisions you'll ever make. It's the point where your dreams collide with your fear, where your purpose demands that you move even though you can't see the full path ahead. Steve Harvey often says, if you want to be successful, you have to jump. There's no way around it. That simple truth captures the essence of growth. You can't discover your wings if you never leap. Most people spend their entire lives standing on the edge, waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth is, there's never a perfect time. The leap itself creates the path. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about believing that the next step will appear when you move. Steve Harvey's own story is built on that leap. Before fame and fortune, he faced homelessness, sleeping in his car, showering in gas stations, and living day to day. He had no guarantees, no security, just faith in his gift and a vision bigger than his fear. That belief pushed him to keep performing in small comedy clubs, to travel miles with no money, and to hold on to hope when life kept saying no. His leap of faith didn't come with comfort. It came with courage. That's what faith really is, trusting your potential more than your pain. Many people never reach their purpose because they overthink every step. They want certainty before commitment, results before effort, and applause before action. But faith doesn't work that way. You have to take the first step without knowing where it will lead. The leap might scare you, but what's scarier is staying stuck in the same place forever. Fear whispers that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that you don't have what it takes. Faith answers back, jump anyway. Every great success story begins with that single decision to trust what you can't yet see. Steve Harvey didn't become who he is by playing it safe. He quit his job to follow his dream of being a comedian, even when people laughed at the idea. He chose uncertainty over comfort. That's the leap every dreamer has to make. Whether you want to start a business, change your career, or pursue your passion, there comes a moment when you have to stop talking about it and take action. You can't tiptoe toward purpose. You have to leap. When you jump, you might stumble, but you'll learn. You might fall, but you'll rise. Every fall teaches you something that comfort never could. The leap of faith also means trusting your abilities. Too many people underestimate themselves. They wait for someone to validate their worth before they move. But nobody can see your vision the way you do. The calling on your life was placed there for you, not for your friends, not for your family, not for your critics. People may not understand your journey because it wasn't given to them. That's why trusting yourself is so important. You have talents, instincts, and gifts that were designed to help you rise, but you'll never know how strong they are until you use them. Faith isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite fear. When you take the leap, doubt will follow you. Failure might even meet you, but every setback is part of your training. Steve Harvey often reminds people that when you jump, your parachute won't open right away. You'll get scraped up, bruised, and scared. But eventually, that parachute will open. It always does. And when it does, you'll realize that everything you went through was preparing you for that moment. Every no, every delay, every disappointment was shaping your strength. You'll start to see that failure was never meant to break you. It was meant to teach you resilience. Faith also requires patience. After you leap, there's a season of waiting, of working, of not seeing results. That's where most people quit, not because they're incapable, but because they get tired of trusting without seeing. But if you hold on, that waiting season becomes your building season. It's where you grow discipline, learn perseverance, and develop the character needed for your blessing. The leap tests your commitment. Anyone can dream, but only those who keep moving through uncertainty ever see their dreams come to life. Taking the leap of faith doesn't just change your career or circumstances, it changes you. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone who's stuck, but as someone who's capable. You begin to understand that courage isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you face fear and still move forward, your confidence expands. The more you trust yourself, the less you rely on external reassurance. That's when faith becomes your default state, when you no longer need to see the finish line to take the first step. Steve Harvey's leap reminds us that the universe rewards boldness. When you act in faith, opportunities appear, connections form, and doors open that you didn't even know existed. Life has a way of meeting you halfway once you commit. But it starts with a decision. The decision to jump. You can spend your whole life on the cliff watching others soar, or you can believe that your wings will work too. You might fall for a while, but eventually you'll fly. Because faith doesn't fail the ones who move, it fails the ones who never try. Respecting your journey means learning to embrace every stage of your life, even the slow, painful, and uncertain ones. It means understanding that growth is not always visible, but it's always happening. Steve Harvey often says that success doesn't happen overnight. It's a process filled with lessons, delays, and divine timing. Too many people want the glory without the grind, the reward without the work, the destination without the detour. But real success is built in the unseen seasons, in the waiting, in the failures, and in the small daily steps that nobody applauds. Respecting your journey is about realizing that every struggle, every rejection, and every setback has a purpose. Steve Harvey's own journey is the perfect example of this truth. Before he became a household name, he went through years of struggle. He performed in small clubs, slept in his car, and faced countless rejections. He didn't know how or when things would change, but he trusted that the process was shaping him for something greater. Every hardship he faced became a chapter in his story. Those nights of loneliness and doubt were not wasted. They built the resilience and character he needed to handle the success that would come later. That's what it means to respect your journey, to stop rushing the process and start learning from it. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, it's easy to feel like you're behind when things don't happen fast. You see others succeeding and you start comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. But growth doesn't follow a fixed timeline. Everyone's path is different. Respecting your journey means acknowledging that your story is unfolding exactly the way it's meant to. The delays, the detours, the disappointments, they're all guiding you toward your destiny. Steve Harvey once said, God's plan for you is better than your plan for yourself. That means even when things don't go your way, they're still going the right way. Respecting your journey also means appreciating small beginnings. Every great achievement starts small. The most successful people didn't start at the top. They climbed their way up one step at a time. When you respect your journey, you stop despising humble starts and start using them as stepping stones. Every job you've had, every challenge you've faced, every mistake you've made, they've all taught you something valuable. Sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something greater. You might not understand it now, But later you'll look back and realize why certain things had to happen the way they did. Growth also takes patience. You can't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. The process of becoming your best self takes time, discipline, and endurance. There will be seasons where you feel stuck, where nothing seems to be working, but those seasons are necessary. They test your faith, strengthen your mindset, and prepare you for what's coming. Steve Harvey's patience through years of struggle is what allowed him to stay grounded when success finally arrived. If he had given up early, he would have missed the life that was waiting for him on the other side of perseverance. Respecting your journey also requires self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when things don't go as planned. You start to doubt your abilities and question your worth. But every mistake is part of your education. You can't learn resilience without failure. You can't learn confidence without challenge. You can't discover strength without struggle. Every obstacle is building something in you that comfort never could. Respecting your journey means giving yourself grace, understanding that you're still growing, still learning, and still becoming. There will be people who won't understand your process. They'll judge your pace, question your choices, or doubt your vision. But remember, they don't need to understand. It's not their journey. You are walking a path that was designed for you, and not everyone will see your destination. Respecting your journey means keeping your focus inward, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. You don't need to explain or prove yourself to anyone. The results will speak for you in time. Steve Harvey often talks about the law of the process. He says success isn't one big leap. It's a series of small steps taken consistently. Every audition, every speech, every moment of preparation counts. That's why you have to stay faithful in the small things, because they build the foundation for the big ones. When you respect your journey, you learn to celebrate progress instead of perfection. You understand that every day you show up is a victory, even if nobody sees it. Respecting your journey also helps you build gratitude. When you take time to appreciate how far you've come, you stop focusing on how far you have left to go. Gratitude turns frustration into fuel. It helps you find joy in the process instead of waiting for happiness at the destination. When Steve Harvey reflects on his past, he doesn't just talk about the success, he talks about the lessons, the pain, and the growth that shaped him. He knows that without those chapters, he wouldn't be who he is today. Life is not a straight line, it's a collection of ups and downs, victories and losses, lessons and blessings. When you respect your journey, you start to see the beauty in all of it. You stop fighting the process and start flowing with it. You understand that growth takes time, but it's always worth it. Every delay has a lesson, every challenge has a purpose, and every step, no matter how small, is leading you toward your destiny. Being your main character means taking full ownership of your life. It's about realizing that you are not a background player in someone else's story. You are the author, the narrator, and the hero of your own. Steve Harvey often reminds people that nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody will live your dream for you, and nobody else can walk your path. The moment you decide to take control of your narrative, everything changes. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop living by other people's expectations and start living by your own vision. Too many people drift through life as if they are just extras in a movie directed by someone else. They allow circumstances, opinions, and fears to dictate their choices. But when you decide to be your own main character, you reclaim your power. You start to ask yourself what you truly want, not what the world wants for you. You begin to live intentionally. Every decision, every action, every step becomes a reflection of your personal story. Steve Harvey's journey is a powerful example of that mindset. He didn't come from privilege or comfort. He came from struggle, from hardship, from moments where giving up would have been easier. But he chose to keep moving forward because he understood that his story was still being written. And he refused to let anyone else hold the pen. Being your main character also means taking responsibility. You stop blaming others for where you are. You stop making excuses for why things aren't happening. You start holding yourself accountable for your growth. Life will always have challenges, but the way you respond determines your direction. Steve Harvey often says, your life is your responsibility. That means if something isn't working, you have the power to change it. If you're unhappy with your situation, you have the ability to improve it. You are not powerless. You are powerful beyond measure. But only when you step into that power and own your choices. Owning your story doesn't mean your story is perfect. Every main character faces struggles, heartbreaks, and failures. But those challenges are what make the story worth telling. Steve Harvey faced countless rejections before anyone knew his name. He lost jobs, endured financial hardship, and faced public criticism. But he never let those moments define him. Instead, he used them as plot twists that made his comeback even stronger. When you're the main character, setbacks don't end your story. They build your strength, your resilience, and your wisdom. They prepare you for the next chapter. Being the main character also means embracing your uniqueness. You are not supposed to look, think, or live like anyone else. The beauty of your story lies in its authenticity. When you try to imitate others, you dilute your power. Steve Harvey didn't succeed by copying someone else. He succeeded by being unapologetically himself. His humor, his honesty, his raw storytelling. That's what made people connect with him. When you embrace who you are, flaws and all, you attract opportunities that align with your true self. You stop seeking validation because you realize your authenticity is your greatest strength. Part of being your main character is also setting your own goals and standards. You decide what success means to you. The world might tell you that success is fame, wealth, or recognition, but real success is peace of mind, purpose, and progress. You can't measure your worth by someone else's timeline. Your journey is unique and your pace is personal. When you're the main character, you stop competing with others and start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. You learn to celebrate your own milestones even if no one else notices them. Steve Harvey often says that you can't live your dream if you're afraid to stand out. Main characters stand out. They take risks. They make bold decisions. They're not afraid of failure because they know that every mistake is part of the script. When you take control of your story, you stop living small. You start saying yes to opportunities that scare you, to paths that stretch you, and to goals that challenge you. You understand that comfort is the enemy of growth, and you refuse to let fear dictate your destiny. Another part of being your main character is surrounding yourself with the right people. Those who uplift you, challenge you, and remind you of your worth. Every hero has a supporting cast, but the main character always leads the story. You have to be careful who you let into your circle, because not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Steve Harvey often talks about how some people are only in your life for a season, not a lifetime. You can't carry everyone with you, especially those who don't believe in your vision. Protect your energy and your focus because your story depends on it. Being your main character also means rewriting your story when necessary. Just because your past had pain doesn't mean your future has to. You can start a new chapter anytime you choose. Steve Harvey turned his pain into purpose. He transformed rejection into redirection. He became proof that no matter how dark your past is, you can still write a bright future. Your story is not over just because you faced failure or made mistakes. Every new day is a blank page waiting for your next move. When you choose to be your main character, you begin to live with confidence, clarity, and courage. You take pride in your journey, no matter how messy it's been. You stop asking for permission to live your dreams and start taking action to make them real. You walk with purpose, speak with conviction, and move like someone who knows they're destined for greatness. That's what Steve Harvey embodies, the spirit of ownership, faith, and perseverance. When you become your main character, you stop surviving and start truly living. Your life stops being a series of random events and becomes a masterpiece written by your own hands. Parfait life will test you, challenge you, and sometimes break you down. But in every moment of struggle lies a lesson that builds your strength. This journey, the one you're walking right now, is shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. Steve Harvey's wisdom reminds us that success is not about luck, timing, or approval. It's about focus, self-belief, and the courage to value who you are even when the world doesn't see it yet. When you start believing in your worth, stop chasing approval, protect your peace, Take that leap of faith, respect your journey, and own your story. Something incredible happens. You begin to transform. You start living intentionally. You rise with confidence. You move with purpose. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop doubting your power and begin walking in it. Remember, greatness isn't found in comfort. It's built in perseverance. Every setback is a setup for a comeback, and every closed door is a redirection towards something greater. Keep your faith strong, your focus sharp, and your energy sacred. Your time is coming, and when it does, you'll look back and realize that every struggle was necessary for your rise. So as you move forward, promise yourself one thing: never forget your value. Don't shrink yourself for anyone. Don't rush your growth. Don't doubt your calling. You are capable, you are chosen, and you are ready. Keep pushing, tempt, keep believing, and keep becoming the best version of yourself every single day. Good luck on your journey. Believe that your dream is possible and that your hard work will pay off. Your story is not over. It's only getting started. Keep your head high, your heart strong, and your purpose alive. Thank you for listening, for believing, and for choosing to invest in yourself today. Remember what Steve Harvey teaches. You are enough, you are powerful, and you have everything it takes to win. Stay focused, stay faithful, and the best is yet to come.